You know, every day so many chairs disappear. I have 20 or so. And there's one very comfortable one, yellow. It's big and comfortable. I don't have it. No, maybe it's just storage. Because Maharaja has been clean enough. So this is actually my office chair. I like to keep it up. Maybe out there. So now it's not clean.
Vandeham Srila Srika Shri Guru Vaisnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saharam Raghunatham Vitam Sajivam Samvetam Samadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahavam Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamshcha Om Ajnanat Mirabhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurudev Namaha Namo Visnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sikaksham Avadaya Madhurya Vinashayukam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shivashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Maharaj Jitaikadeti Shri Panjalila Sasaram Narayanam Tam Satatam Prapatye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Peshvaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyani Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapreshvaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshavaya Namine Ativarta Charitra Swashritara Chapaline Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauramani Shri Murte Vinatayane Rupanuga Vidbhava Siddhanta Dhantaharine Namo Gaurishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Viprabha Sambodhe Param Murtaye Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandamine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Pamudavare Gaura Virbhava Bhumistam Nirdishta Sajanam Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahakadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurachrishne Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesho Pita Kanto Radha Kanto Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Pranamami Hari Priye Jayakam Suratopam Mama Vandam Madhurate Matsarvasvaparam Bhojam Radha Madhanoharo Divya Vrindayanya Kalpadumaro Srimad Ratnagara Sinhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Shri Govinda Deva Prestharihi Senjamano Smarani Shri Mantra Sarasaram Hiram Shivattatastitaha Karsham Me Musvanarohi Gopinath Shri Krishna Vrindaya Tulasideya Priyaya Keshavasya cha Krishna Bhakti Pradede Satyavate Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashartikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Chetudarpanamarjanam Bhavamahadavami Nirvapam Shreyakairava Chandrikavitaram Vidyavadhujivanam Anandambudivardhanam Pratiparam Purnamritashadanam Sarvatma Satanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Hare Ram Hare Ram Eva Kevalam Kalo Naste बात प्रणाम करो।
Page 44.
एक बारो करुणा करो, एक बारो करुणा करो। Vande Girivaradhara Padakamalam, page 346.
Ramani
Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namam Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Ninatarim. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. And the same, in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaja Srila Prabhupada, to all of our Rupan and Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, my Dandavat Pranam, and to all of those who are watching on Facebook live streaming. Maybe I have to put the mridanga down. Oh, and two, can you put the mridanga? My Dandavat Pranam also to my seniors present here. Everyone's my senior. By Rajabat Shoti Maharaj, Srimati Uma Didi, Didi.
Because I think these people are again outside the police. So better keep small group.
Small group and far distant. Okay. So we're continuing with Going Beyond Vaikuntha, which is a series of lectures of Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And his Bhav Anubad means his commentary from his heart of Srila Sanatan Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So to begin, first we will offer our pranam to Sri Sanatan Goswami, begging that may a drop of his mercy in the form of the words of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita enter our hearts. Vairaga Junga Bhakti Rasam Prayatna Apayana Mam Anubhipshamandam Kripambadeya Paradukaduki Sanatanastam Prabhumashriyami. And he is extremely merciful to those who are suffering in this world. So we're offering our pranam to his lotus feet. And also to Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, who presented this Bhava Anubhava. May their mercy manifest in these pages and manifest in our hearts. Yesterday we were speaking about Sri Ramanujacharya, and now we're continuing with this Going Beyond Vaikuntha. So Srila Gurudev was telling us how we should chant, how essential it is to have the proper mood while chanting, not just rattling off the sounds. These sounds may be there, but if they are devoid of potency, then some of our acharyas, like Srila Bhakti Sri Maharaj, he gave the example of a gun with a bullet that doesn't have any metal, only the powder. So it makes the loud sound of a firecracker, but there's no potency. So chanting Harinam without any mood, without any hope, without any desire, without any aspiration, without being under guidance, is also like this. Or the other example given by our acharyas is a woman who goes into the hospital. She's making all the sounds of giving birth, breathing loud, breathing fast, and screaming, but she's not pregnant. Then she will not have a child. In the same way, if we are not endeavoring to make sambandha, relationship with Harinam Prabhu, then what is our chanting? Some sound vibration is there, and maybe gradually over a long period of time, some transformation can happen. But if we are under the guidance of Rupanuga, Rasik, Bhavuk, Vaishnavas, Tishtham Brajetad Anuragi Jananugami, if we are under their guidance, then very quickly, following their instructions, we can attain the result of Harinam, which is the awakening of prema, or divine love, in service for the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. Srila Gurudev said in the Secret Truths of Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter, that even if you are chanting lakhs and lakhs of Harinam, worshipping thousands of Shalagram Shilas, if it does not bring about the intense desire to hear the glories of Krishna, Rati means attraction to hearing Harikatha from the mouth of the pure devotees about Krishna, then it is considered hard, useless labor. And he gave the evidence from Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma Sunishkitapum, Sam Vishwakshena Katasya, Notpade, Jariratim, Shramadeva Hikevalam. That all of the activities that one performs, if they do not bring about this rati, this attraction for hearing Harikatha, the glories of Krishna, then it is considered hard, useless labor. Srila Gurudev also confirmed this idea when we were in Govardhan at the Mutt. The first time we went there, when we had this big temple, which was only cement at the time, there was no decoration. We had a big kirtan. Krishnadas led this kirtan. It was so powerful and so high. It felt like the roof was dancing of the temple in Giridhari Gauri Mata Govardhan. And after the kirtan, we all sat down in front of Gurudev. And I don't normally remember exactly the words which come out of Gurudev's mouth, but sometimes he would say certain things that would penetrate deeply, and I would remember. The first thing he said to all of us is, don't be attached to these walls. One day they will crumble. He said, even one day Thakurji will also disappear. You should only be attached to that place where Harikatha is being spoken by the pure devotee. It was so powerful, so clear, and so essential. Where Harikatha is being spoken by the pure devotee. This is the most essential thing. And this is also proven by the Lord himself, that I do not reside in Vaikuntha. I do not reside in the hearts of the yogis. Where do I reside? Madbhakta yatra gayanti, where my devotees are always glorifying my names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. I am present there. Interestingly, this same idea is also manifested in different religions of this world. Wherever two or more come together in my name, I am present there. This is in the Bible. I am present there. All glories to the name of God. Hallowed be thy name. Hallelujah. Hari Bol. The names of the Lord. Chanting the names of the Lord. As I said before, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Eva Kevalam doesn't only mean Krishna's name. Harinam Atuva Aneka Swarupa. Yashodanandana Ananda Tanaya Rasaku. All of Krishna's pastimes, his names, forms, qualities, and pastimes are present within these names. So Hare Nam Eva Kevalam means chanting, glorifying his names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. I don't know if I told anyone recently, but I asked Srila Gurudev, and I've also seen this conversation with Srila Govinda Maharaja. And I asked Gurudev in Italy, Venice, I believe it was. Yes. It says in Shastra, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam. But my heart is full of so many anarthas. Lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, and pride. I have no rati for Harikatha. So, when it says Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, whose Harinam, whose chanting of Harinam is this referring to? My Nam Aparad, or the Shuddhanam coming from the mouth of the pure devotees? This is a reasonable question. Whose Harinam is this referring to? And Srila Gurudev said, both. And I was like, oh, interesting. He said, first Shravanam, then Kirtanam. I thought, how profound and how simple. Shravana Kirtanam. Shravana Kirtana Jale Gore Esecha. The process by which our Bhakti Lata, means our nature to serve Krishna, is awakened and increased is through the process of hearing from those who have experienced Tattvadarshi, who are experiencing practically their relationship with Krishna. Our Srila Prabhupada explained that this is the meaning of Tattvadarshi, who are practically experiencing their relationship with Krishna. And Srila Goswamipada Maharaja, he said, what is Tattva? Tattva. In this Tattvadarshi, he said, what is Tattva? Who is Tattva? Advaigyan Tattva Braje Brajendra Nandan. Who has realized their relationship with Krishna in Vrindavan, they are Tattvadarshi, who is experiencing that relationship. So hearing from that person, following their instructions, and also doing kirtan, what we have heard, then as a result of that, our Bhakti Lata is nourished. Shravana Kirtana Jale Gore Secha. So here Srila Gurudev is telling, we must chant precisely in the way that the spiritual master has taught us. When I was younger, there was a kind of a joke going around in ISKCON about so many different kinds of chanting. There's the people that are chanting and they're doing this with their japamala, talking and like this. It looks like they're shooting a gun, no? And they're rolling through their beats so fast. Like this. It's like a machine gun. There's people that are looking around, looking at everything, wondering, oh, what's going on over there? What's going on? Like some kind of radar, but not focusing on Harinam Prabhu. There's those who are chanting, falling asleep, and their head is bouncing like this. So many different kinds of japa. There's gibber japa and jabber japa. Gibber means when I'm chanting and I'm talking about all material things. No, this gibberish is actually when you're chanting and it makes no sense. You know, shnik shnik shnam nam nam like this. And others are talking about, oh, you know, many devotees sitting there watching the football game. Hare Krishna, oh yeah! Like this. This is not diving deep into Harinam Seva. You know, others walking with their japamala behind them like this, like a tail, wagging behind their backs like this, but not entering deeply. Srila Gurudev would tell that even before Mangalarti, sitting in one place with your eyes closed and focused on the Ishtadev of your mantra, with tears, with the heart melting, one should chant a minimum of 32 rounds before Mangalarti. And then after.
Anybody doing that job with that machine?
Machine.
Click, click. What is that?
Well, that's called clicker japa. But they may be chanting the name, Hare Krishna, but still they're counting like this. Also, it's not good if someone is driving the car and they're chanting on their mala and they cannot hold the steering wheel. Or if they're overtired. Our Srila Prabhupada became very upset when devotees would die because one devotee was negligent. He was too tired and he was driving a car full of devotees and then he crashed and they died. And he became very upset. If you are tired, you should rest. Don't risk other devotees like this. Srila Gurudev always advised, don't keep your mala in your hand while driving. But all Shastra says that one should always chant the names of the Lord in every circumstance, everywhere. It doesn't mean you have to do it on your mala, but definitely we should chant on our mala. Yes? Didi is very excited. She's remembering Gurudev. She was like, he would say, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. But always and everywhere, one should chant the holy name of the Lord. One time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he could not stop himself from chanting. Tunde Tandamani Ritintamate Tundavali Adhai Karna Kroda Kadamani Gataite Karnavani Vespraham. Oh, this one tongue is not sufficient. I require millions of tongues to taste the nectar of the holy name. And his tongue couldn't stop vibrating the holy name, even when he went to the toilet. So what was he doing? He was holding his tongue to try to stop it from vibrating the holy name, because he was going to the toilet, passing stool. At that time, people didn't go into bathrooms like they do now. They would go out into the fields. One very young boy named Gopal, he came past. Why are you holding your tongue? He said, so that I don't vibrate the names of the Lord when I'm in a filthy place, or doing this activity. Little Gopal said to him, what about at the time of death? Vomiting, mucus, stool and urine and everything would be coming out, and you should not chant the name of the Lord at that time? Mahaprabhu said, you are right. So from that he called him Gopal Guru, and he became later known as Gopal Guru Goswami. Also, once upon a time, there was one personality, king, and he was told by Narayan, you should chant the name of Ram. He said, I have no time, I'm too busy, I'm managing the kingdom, I have no time. Narayan said, you should chant the names of the Lord, sometime, anytime. Do you have any time at this time, this time? No, I'm too busy, too busy. Narayan said to him, how about when you are going to the toilet? He said, yes, at that time I can chant the name of Ram. Narayan said, okay, chant the name of Ram. So that king, when he was going to the toilet, he was chanting the name of Ram, Ram. Whoever's chanting the name of Ram, Hanumanji, automatically becomes attracted. Who is chanting the name of my Prabhu? So he went to that place and he sees this person there, passing stool, chanting Ram, Ram, Ram. Hey? Chanting the name of my Ram in such a filthy condition. Hanuman kicked him. Nothing happened, Hanuman kicked him and left, walked away. Later when Hanuman went back to the palace, Ayodhya, everyone was so upset. What's going on? What's going on? Ram, he cannot breathe. What do you mean? Immediately he went to see Ram. What happened? What happened? He said, someone kicked me. He said, who kicked you? I will. Ram said, you kicked me. He said, I would never kick you. Ram said, don't you know? Abhinatva, nam namino. Myself and my name, we are non-different. Today someone was chanting my name and you kicked them. I took that personally unto myself. What a valuable lesson. Hanuman realized, the name of the Lord and the Lord himself are non-different. Us and our names, someone can be talking bad about me or good about me and I wouldn't know. But Krishna, he knows everything. Him and his name are non-different. Therefore, even if you chant Nam Aparad, there's some effect. Namabhas, there's effect, and Shuddhanam, there's effect. How we are chanting his name, an effect still comes. So, when we chant in precisely the way that the spiritual master has taught us, chanting with our concentrations focused, ridding our hearts of all desires for sense enjoyment, with humility, and with tears coming to our eyes in remembrance, this will bring Gopal. And Gurudev already spoke about which Gopal, according to the intrinsic inherent mood, our relationship with our Ishtadev, that Gopal. Now here Gurudev is specifically speaking about Gopal mantra, but Gopal is Krishna, and Harinam is Krishna. So also the same process should be taken for Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We must chant with a steady mind and exclusive sentiment, and eventually the mantra will give us direct darshan of Krishna himself. Now Srila Gurudev quotes the very first line of Sri Manashiksha by Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Guru Goshthe Gostalayeshu Sujane Bhusurgane Svamantre. This is Manashiksha 1. We should chant with peace of mind, love and firm faith, and then the mantra will give us direct darshan of our deity. Our deity means our form of the Lord. Each individual has a specific relationship with Krishna, and our relationship is individual. As anyone in this world may have thousands of relationships with thousands of people, but still each one is individual. Even if you have 10 children, even if they're all your children, still your relationship is individual with each of them. Therefore, the Supreme Lord, the source of everything, Aham Bija Pradapita, the Supreme Father of all existence, has individual relationships with each soul. Maybe they're of a particular rasa, and still it is individual. It is intrinsic. If every single snowflake is different, why would the Supreme Lord's creation be only the same? He is full of all transcendental variety. Bhagavan.
But if no thing is one thing and then must be different. Never equal or nothing.
Yes. So Srimati Didi is saying it's never equal. Everything must have its individuality. Of course, Mahaprabhu has coined the aphorism, Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. So the simultaneous difference and not difference between the Supreme Lord and his energies. But there's nothing that is exactly the same, although it may have similar nature. It may have similar nature. But we cannot say that any two are the same. Bahukanta bina nahi rasera ulas. Although there is one Srimati Radhika, and she is Sarva Lakshmi Mayi. She is the source of all other gopis. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Vistapirya Eva Nija Rupa Taya Kalabhi. Still, and although she is able to fully fulfill all of Krishna's desires more than anyone else, still she understands that in order to fully satisfy Krishna's desires, she manifests herself unlimitedly to increase his transcendental ecstasy. Bahu Kanta Binarahe Raser Ulas. What to speak of all jivas, they're also Shakti. They are also Tatashta Shakti. Everything is there to increase Krishna's transcendental pleasure. And he wants to experience all flavors unlimitedly. If we are experiencing individuality here and now, why would we all be just the same blob of energy on the soul level? Impossible. Why would I be less on that level than I am on this level? Everyone is an individual. One time, Sudevi asked Gurudev, Srimati Radhika is completely one-pointed to Krishna. Is he also one-pointed to her? Gurudev made a sad face. Oh, he wants to be, but he cannot. Not even one jiva can he give up. He cannot give up even one jiva. Every one of them. Gurudev said, as much as we might be crying in separation for Krishna, he's crying millions of times more for us. He's been waiting since the beginning of time, forever, for us to turn and look in his direction, while we are absorbed in trying to taste the fruits and enjoy in this material world. There's that verse in Bhagavad Gita, I don't remember the shlok, I only remember the children's song version, that there are two little birds sitting in the tree, one is Krishna and one is me. I am always in distress, trying to find happiness. He is waiting day by day for me to turn and look his way. There's a tune for it, but I don't want to sing it.
You know how Krishna is, he cannot give up on jiva.
Yes.
And
So Vajantimala Didi is asking that Srimati Radhika is very merciful. She is Ashray Tattva, meaning her function is to serve Krishna's enjoyment tendency, his tendency to experience bliss and happiness. Her nature is to do so. Radhaya Pranay Mahima, everything about her is meant to give love and affection to Krishna. So she's giving mercy to everyone, and Krishna himself wants to taste what she's experiencing and then to give mercy to all jivas.
So, you're saying that Krishna, Radhika is one-pointed to Krishna.
Yes.
But Krishna, he cannot give up on you. He's got, his affection goes everywhere. But we also hear that Srimati Radhika is kind-minded. Her affection is also there for Jesus.
So the idea of her being one-pointed to Krishna, but then she also cannot give us up. She is also trying to give mercy to the jivas. So in this case, my understanding is, how is it that she is one-pointed? Srimati Radhika is one-pointed because her bhav is exclusively to serve and please Krishna. She doesn't have any selfish interest whatsoever. She is not of the nature of Vishai, that I want to enjoy anything. So even engaging all souls, giving them her mercy, is simply engaging them in the service of Krishna. Everything's exclusively pointed in that direction. It's collecting everything and offering it to Krishna. Krishna, even as Mahaprabhu, is still Krishna. Nomi Krishna Swarupa. He's still Vishai Bhagavan, trying to enjoy the bhav of Srimati Radhika. There's a speciality there. No, Radhika's mood is not to enjoy at all. It's only to serve Krishna. Krishna as Mahaprabhu is trying to enjoy her bhav. So there is some speciality. Radha bhava dyuti suvalitam, but still he's Krishna inside. So there is a very big difference between the mood of wanting to enjoy and the exclusive mood of wanting to serve. One-pointedness does not mean that I don't look anywhere else. One-pointedness means everything that comes into my vicinity and beyond, I engage everything exclusively in the service to fulfill Krishna's desires, to increase his happiness, to increase his bliss, to increase his pleasure for his benefit. And his mood is, he wants to taste everything, every flavor in all of his creation, and he wants to maximize that. We have some idea of that. There's some ice cream shops with 31 flavors, and you got to sample each flavor. Oh, I want to taste this, I want to taste that, I want to taste this. You go into the shops and there's different flavors of candies. We want to taste more and more flavors. We want to experience more. His capacity, being Vishai, the supreme enjoyer, Bhagavan, is to taste everything and to maximize it more. So everyone and everything other than him, their function is to fulfill that. Therefore, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Ekal Ishvara Krishna Ar Sabhagratya. There's only one Ishvara, that is Krishna. Everyone and everything else is serving his Vishai, his enjoying tendency.
So that makes sense. So like our Guru Bhag also, in the mood of Srimati Radhika, they're one-pointed, but they're looking to collect more Jews.
So Vajanti Malani is clarifying that also includes our Guru Varga, who are also manifestations of the bhavs of Srimati Radhika. This is Rupanuga and Guru Varga. Those who are Nikunja Yuno Ratike Nisidya, serving Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan as maidservants of Srimati Radhika, that is Rupanuga. They are manifestations of her moods of loving service to Krishna. They are one-pointed to the service of Radha and Krishna. Actually, Radhika is not taking anything for herself, in the same way that Guru is not taking anything for himself. They're only collecting and then channeling everything. Gurudeva explained how it goes. I will take your heart and I will offer it to my Gurudeva. He will offer to his. He will offer to his. It will go up the line. Sri Rupa will offer it to Lalita Saki, who will offer it to Srimati Radhika. What will she do with it? She has no need to keep our hearts for herself. She will also offer that in service to Krishna. So this is the process and how it works. So they are one-pointed also in their exclusivity. They don't have anything to keep for themselves, nothing to take, only everything to give to Krishna. And this is therefore the definition of anya vilashita shunyam. Anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. It is favorable for Krishna exclusively for his happiness, his pleasure, his benefit. There is nothing to take for themselves. When Gurudeva would say, I want to take your hearts and put them in my pocket, he never intended to keep our hearts in his pocket. He just wanted to make it beautiful, fragrant, qualified, and then offer it in the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So here, Srila Gurudev is telling that if we chant properly, with the peace of mind, love, and firm faith, then the mantra will give us direct darshan of our deity. And also darshan of our spiritual master. The mantra will give us darshan of our deity and our spiritual master. Because one cannot go directly to Krishna. He says, whoever says they are my devotee, they are not really my devotee. But the devotee of my devotee is my real devotee. Aradhanam sarvesham vishnu aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadyanam samarchanam. Mahadev is telling to Devi, of all kinds of worship, worship of Vishnu is the highest. But more than that, tasmat parataram devi, what is greater than that? Tadyanam samarchanam. To worship those persons who are near and dear, means those who are the hearts of the Lord. The Lord himself says, I only know my devotees and they only know me. I am not at all independent. I am dependent on my devotees. I can't remember at the moment. It's not coming, the shlok. There it's in the Katha of Maharaja Ambarish when Srimad Narayan is speaking to Durvasa. Aham bhakta paradhina. I'm not at all independent. And also Shastra says that first we should serve Sri Guru. Otherwise, there is no result. So by the power of our mantra, first our relationship with our Guru will have to manifest. And from that, then the relationship with Krishna will awaken. Without Sri Guru, how can we awaken our sambandha with Krishna? One time in this connection, Srila Gurudev told a very sweet, beautiful example. We were in San Francisco, 1997. And he said once, there was a young girl, she had come to marriageable age. Her mother then began to search for any qualified suitor for her daughter. And she found a most excellent, handsome, charming young man. So every day she would go to the house of that family where that young boy was and associate there. And then she would come home in the evening with her friends and she would be speaking, oh, today this young man, oh, he's very tall, he's dark, he's handsome. Today he was singing and everyone's heart was melting, his voice is like honey. Oh, today he was playing sports and he won, he did this, he did that, and she would tell all of his glories and all of his qualities. And the young daughter was just overhearing everything the mother was telling every day for quite a long period of time. And gradually by hearing, just overhearing what her mother was speaking, her heart was becoming attracted. Wow, he sounds amazing. I would like to meet this person. I would like to know him. Oh, he's so amazing. He's so expert in all arts. He's expert in music and sports and so tall and dark and handsome and charming. He sounds amazing. I also want to meet him. And after some time, that expert mother, she could see how her daughter's heart was changing. One day she places the photograph on the chair. And then, after everyone leaves, she tells her daughter, you should clean the table and clean everything. So as the daughter is cleaning, she notices a picture in the chair. Gurudev told this story. And she takes that picture and she looks. She says, oh my God. He looks just like my mother's description, but 1,000 times more amazing. She looks left and right, She sees no one is there. She hides that picture, runs into her room, closes the door, puts it next to her bed, and dreams about the day when they will meet, when she can give her heart to him, and when he will give his heart to her. So Gurudev explained that, and when the time is right, then the mother will make that connection, and then all of her desires will be fulfilled. In the same way, Guru comes into our life. We haven't met Krishna, we don't know Krishna, but what is he doing? He's speaking such sweet Harikatha. You would see when Gurudev would sit here and speak on Damodar Lila even, how his eyes would light up. He would become so excited and he'd be speaking about Krishna. And you'd be looking at him like, my God, he's not telling a story, he's witnessing this. And he's sharing it with us in such an excited way that we also become pulled into his vision. He would bring us to Vrindavan and have us witness his vision. And gradually telling the Katha of Krishna in such a beautiful, charming way, our hearts will become attracted. And when the time is right, when our desire to serve, when our inclination to serve by hearing that Harikatha becomes awakened, that yes, I want to offer my heart. It's not just the desire to offer the heart, but what comes as a matter of that desire. How can I serve him? I want to be qualified to serve in all ways. Love is expressed through action. That expression of love is known as seva. Seva means the desire to please the object of my love and affection. What will please that person? What does he like? I don't know. What should I make? I remember Gurudev, he always liked dal puri. Srimati Umadidi, she knows Gurudev likes certain things. One time we made Gurudev a very, very nice chocolate cake. It came out so good. It was like what they call devil's food. So rich and so sweet and so soft and fluffy. It was the best cake we ever made. And we gave it to Gurudev. Afterward he said, "Your cake?" And we were like, "Yes." He said, "Too much ras. I like somewhat dry." And we were like, I can't believe my Gurudev said those words. But it was too moist for him. He was used to the cakes made with atta here, and he liked the more dry ones. We were giving him something, but he preferred something else. We also made sandesh for him. It was the summer, it was hot, we were in Fiji. We made rose flavored and saffron flavored. Afterward, he told us, we got in trouble actually because Maharaja got angry. "Why'd you make it so good? Gurudev ate everything." Gurudev said, "I got in such big trouble, I ate everything." They put 8 pieces on his plate. But afterward he told us, in the summer months, don't offer saffron to Thakurji. It is too heating. So we learned also that in the summer, because saffron is very heating, we don't offer that to Radha and Krishna. We think about what is beneficial for them. In the same way that you don't use a fan, panka, in the winter on Radha and Krishna. It's very cooling, so we don't do that for them. We behave appropriately. So Guru will teach us how to serve Krishna in the way that Krishna is pleased. What he likes for his happiness, for his pleasure, and for his benefit. I don't know, but my Gurudev knows, and he will make me qualified in all ways to serve Radha and Krishna. Is it time for Arati now? Okay. So now we're going back to the Brahmana. After bathing at Vishram Ghat, the Brahman entered Sri Vrindavan. Eventually, he arrived at the banks of Jamuna. And at that time, there was no town or village there. Can you imagine? No town or village was here at that time. Just jungle, trees. flowers, fruits, birds, animals, Jamuna. Even when I came in 1984 and I was at Vrindavan Gurukul, that time, Parikrama Marg was just very soft dust. Raman Reti, behind ISKCON, that area, was crisp, was like, it looked like salt, white salt. So white and pure. So many trees and peacocks were everywhere, and cows were just in the sand. Everything was very quiet and peaceful at that time. But here, that Gurudev is saying, there was no village or town. From a secluded grove, Kunja, he heard a voice lamenting, but it was also very sweet. He could not discern if it was someone crying, if it was a kirtan, or even whether it was a man or a woman, but the sound was attracting him. Slowly he began searching after this voice until he came to a dense kunja amongst the gardens of the Jamuna near Keshi Ghat. It's very close to here. Entering that kunja, he saw a very effulgent and attractive youth. It was Gopa, and he was chanting this kirtan in a very sweet melody. Do you know the kirtan? Shri Krishna Gopala Hare Mukunda Govinda He Nanda Kishora Krishna Ha Shri Jashoda Tanaya Prasida Shri Vallavi Jivana Radhike Shah. That's in Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita 247. So Gopakumar was chanting this sweet kirtan. In his kirtan, he was emphasizing the line Ha Shri Jashoda Tanaya Prasida. He was shedding tears and saliva was falling from his mouth. Whether he was conscious or unconscious, the Brahmin couldn't tell. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is described that when one is doing kirtan in such a state of bhav, evam varadasva priyanamakyadya jatan rago drita chitta uchay hasatyata roditi rotikaya dudmadavan drittati lokabhya. As one is doing kirtan, serving kirtan of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, all Ashtasattvik bhavs are manifesting. Sometimes weeping, crying, hair standing on end, sometimes falling on the ground, without any awareness or care or knowledge of what anyone outside might be thinking or even saying. This is the state of complete absorption. So here, whether he was conscious or unconscious, the Brahmin couldn't tell. But Gopakumar was shedding tears and saliva was falling from his mouth. Bringing some water from Jamuna, the Brahmin cleansed Gopakumar's mouth and fanning him gradually brought him to his external senses. After a little while, Gopakumar arose and said, "You have come from Assam, from Pragjotishpur. There, the goddess Devi gave you some mantra?" The Brahmin did not reply. "She gave you the Gopal mantra? From there, via Ganga Sagar and Gaya, you went to Varanasi, and there, Shankar and Parvati gave you some instruction, and via Prayag you have come here?" The more Gopakumar said, the more the Brahma was astonished, and deep faith arose in him toward Gopakumar. I cannot tell you how many persons I have spoken with who had these kind of interactions with Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudeva Maharaj. These mystical, where he knows everything. Like our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, did not tell a soul he was leaving home. He didn't send a message by telegram or anything. He left home one night, took the train, arrived at the station in Navadvip, and there, one Sajan Sevak Brahmachari, holding a lamp, was calling, "Tewariji, Tewariji!" That is me, how did you know? Gurudev told me that you're coming to come and collect you. He knew everything. That time Gurudev realized complete surrender. He knows everything. This Sajjan Sevak Brahmachari later became known as Pujapad Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Goswami Maharaj.
On that day, departure day also he came when he had wanted to depart to Brihad. Also, that he also came.
Yes. So she was saying that also on the departure day of Srila Bhaktivedanta, yes. So Srimati Umadi is explaining that the same day was the disappearance of Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman was, the appearance day of Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Goswami Maharaj and the disappearance day of Srila Gurudev. Srila Gurudev had said for years, and I personally heard him a few times, saying, I want to depart on the same day that Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Maharaj and Srila Trivikram Maharaj have departed. And I remember every year all the devotees were feeling afraid Gurudev is going to leave, and then especially in 2010. Everyone's like, Gurudev didn't depart on that day, but according to Shastra, the appearance and disappearance of Vaishnavas, there is no different. At that time, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Maharaj came and brought Gurudev to the Nitya Seva. Of course, we understand that Nikunja Yuno Ratikeri Siddhya Shri Guru is always engaged in serving, but still we can see from this position to that position also there's that external manifestation. So Srimati Didi is telling that three bodies, one soul, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, and Pujapad Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Goswami Maharaj came to take Gurudev and bring him into that Nitya Seva. Three bodies, one soul. Yes, Maharaj.
Remember we had a kirtan all night that night. And actually Gurudev then later he said, I prefer to go, but none of you would let me. He gave that commentary. None of you wanted me to let me to go.
Pujapad Sajjan Maharaj is saying that in Govardhan, when that day on the disappearance festival of Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Goswami Maharaj and Trivikram Maharaj, at that time the devotees were doing kirtan all night. Srila Gurudev said afterward, I wanted to go, but none of you would let me. So Srimati Umadi is making the point that at the time when Gurudev was about to depart at Govardhan, that particular night actually I was inside and it was very, very, very close. Very close. that Srila Gurudev may have left. But because all the Vaishnavas, all the devotees were praying to Sri Gurudeva and Krishna, please keep him, it was very difficult. But she was making the point that once Gurudev went to Puri, even they were saying that there was some improvement, that she received a letter from Didi that even there's some improvements, and devotees weren't praying to the same extent, with that same enthusiasm, because they thought Gurudev was getting a little better. So at that time, then he was able to go on the day of Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami. So Srimati Didi is speaking about auspicious times for departure, and that if you begin a journey on an auspicious day, then that journey is considered, even from the time he went to Puri, that it was auspicious from the time he left, from the time he departed. Just like on Ekadashi days, one should not travel with the Dwadashi. They put their luggage outside the door to symbolize that I've begun my journey. She said if you go on, you should not go on Dwadashi. If you go on Trayodasi, then everything is fulfilled. Everything is considered auspicious. One should not travel on Dwadashi. Maybe Ekadashi, okay, but not Dwadashi and not some other days. This is something astrologically which I don't know much about. But it's considered there are auspicious times to begin journeys and inauspicious times to begin journeys. But anyhow, the day of the appearance or disappearance of any Vaishnava is considered supremely auspicious. And so Srila Gurudev departed on the auspicious appearance day of Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaja, who is like Gurudev said, we are like one soul in two bodies. About Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, how near and dear they are, both serving together in the Nikunjas, serving Sri Radha and Krishna. Are you ready for Bhakti?
One question I am saying. One time, Gurudev came from the house and he becomes Shiva. So our Gurudev, always so beautiful looking, what they need, medicine, everything he arranged. But Gurudev not touch. 3-4 days, Gurudev not touch, taking any medicine or no food. Then Gurudev going to the Gurudev. Gurudev, your Gurudeva not taking anything. You can go. Maharaja told to ask me, everybody come.
Srimad Didi is telling about how intimate, near and dear Srila Gurudev and Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaja are. Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, that they wouldn't take anything. He was saying, I'm not going to take anything. Why he has not come to see me, I will not take anything. Only when he came to see him, then he would take something. So their relationship is so intimate, so close, so deep and personal. It's not a very normal relationship like we see in this world. Their relationship is completely transcendental and pure and very, very deep on a spiritual and transcendental level. Always engaging one another in the service of Guru, Gauranga and Shri Radha and Krishna. So now it's time for Aarti. Yes, so we will stop here. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Sanatan Goswamipada ki jai, Shri Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Shri Rupana Gurudeva ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Police order? Should I tell it?